Brought to you by Refi. Refinance your defaulted private student loans today at yrefi.com/Ramsey.
All right, today's question comes from Jackie in Massachusetts. She says, everywhere I go these days, there's a tipping screen now at the end of the purchase. For the average person who's not in baby step 7, when is it appropriate to leave a tip at coffee shops and restaurants versus not giving one? That's actually a really good question. I mean, I definitely feel like since COVID, since the pandemic, tipping has kind of gone into the stratosphere, I think. And there's been some tipping fatigue out there. I definitely think whenever you're in a restaurant situation where you're sitting down, you're placing an order, there's somebody attending to your table, you should always tip. And I think that you should tip between 18 to 20%. That's just me. I'm a 22% tipper. That's Jade's personal thing, but you need to at least be, I think, 18 at those places. Now there are, I think also anything that's really a close, I'm going to call it a closely felt service, right? So somebody who's cutting your hair, someone who's doing your nails, they're like involved in your bodily person while they're doing a service. I think that those people also should be tipped. Again, 15% is a great place to start on that. Things that I don't tip for, or, sometimes it's like, it just depends on if it's really great, would be, I don't know, like a barista service, something like that. It's like, I got my coffee. If it was really good and I know the person and it's like always the same guy or something, I might tip them a little bit. Grocery delivery, if it's raining out, always tip them. What about you, Dave? I'm just trying to think, what do you not tip for? I'm trying to think what I don't tip for. I'm a tipper though. I lean heavily into tipping.
For me, tipping falls in the bucket with generosity.
Yeah, I think me too.
And so I overdo it to the point that my wife cringes.
Well, we have it on our budget as a line item.
Yeah, she's like, you don't need to leave that much. It wasn't that good. And I'm like, yeah, well, they don't care if it's that good. And, here's the thing. The kitchen might have screwed up, not the poor waitress.
That's right. No, please don't take it out on the waitress.
Yeah, so
rarely.
Sometimes the waitress is an idiot, too. That happens.
It does,
but in my case, I don't really have a choice because they're going to have a Dave Ramsey story. It might as well be a good one.
That's true. You're a known fellow.
I'm a known felon, so I have to
fellow.
that too. And so I have to leave a tip even when I don't want to, but I want to. I like doing that. But the times that I walk up to the counter and someone spins an iPad at me and I leave a tip is precisely zero. I do not tip there ever. That is not a tippable.
Well, if I know that person is going to be touching my food.
There's a tip jar on the counter at the gas station, and I just walked in to pay for my gas. No, I'm not tipping. You can flip that screen at me all you want. I'm not tipping.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do anything. And so, sorry, it's not anything.
Yeah.
But I over tip on everything else. Here's one where people don't tip, and I think this is horrible. 100% of the time I stay in a hotel, I pinch a 20 and I leave it in a standing on the end of the bed when I leave every day.
The maid service, yeah.
Every day the maid gets tipped. And my wife is like, well, they didn't even do turn down service. Oh my God, would you quit with this already?
So you don't wait till the end. You do it at the end of each day?
Every day.
I like that.
Every day. And so, and you know what? I never have a problem with the room either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Ever. And the one that drives me real crazy, I saw this happen the other day. This guy pulled up in it's like a $130,000 Mercedes. And he's parking a car with a valet, and it's raining, and he gives this kid $5.
Stop it. I don't like that.
And I'm like, no, this is just dumb. You just gave him the keys to your $130,000 car, Ferris Bueller.
Man, he's going to mess with the seats.
Man.
He's going to change all
and
the stations.
And you gave him $5? Yeah. Are you moron? I mean, come on. So there's certain, I've tipped valets $50.
You better tip the valet.
But you know what? That car's sitting right there when I come out too. They didn't even park it. It's just sitting there. They didn't even touch it. And so that's good. I like that. So that's good service goes with the good tip. So yeah, and
listen, I used to work in food service.
And when I pull up with the valets, in some cases, I almost always hit them on the front end.
Yeah.
And then another person brings the car back.
And get them too.
And so, no, sometimes I do, but sometimes I go, hey, the other guy, I hit the other guy on the front end. And he goes, oh, I heard about it. So,
okay. Yeah.
They usually tip share anyway. They knew what was happening. So you want to do that. But that's a reputation thing and it's a generosity thing. But this thing of you just poured some coffee at Starbucks and you spin the thing around, face it in my...
Negatory.
I don't buy coffee at Starbucks. So why am I saying that?
But I'm saying that type of scenario,
I haven't been in a
tip.
Starbucks in 15 years, so what am I saying? But I mean, coffee shop. If I went into a coffee shop and they pour me a cup of coffee and they hand it across the counter.
Quick serve.
No, thank you. I don't tip Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's not what I'm doing. I'm driving through, you're handing me the Jesus chicken out, and I'm gone. I mean,
now, I do feel like if you can't, like when you go to actual restaurants, I feel like if you can't afford to leave a nice tip,
if you can't afford
go.
tip, you shouldn't go.
You can't go, yeah.
No, that's for sure, because those people are working for tips.
They're working hard,
and a lot of them aren't being paid well unless they're tipped. And so...
And have a nice demeanor towards them, too, because, listen, back in the day when I worked at Applebee's, I don't want to tell you some of the things I saw back there when people were when tables were acting up.
Payback's hell on that.
Oh, man, you don't want to know.
You don't want to know what happened to your food before it came out. But
I never did anything. I would never do something like that.
No, I don't think you would.
I never would.
Well, it would be against your religion to mess up food. Because you like food.
I love food. I love people. Even if somebody's wilding out, I still would not do some of the things that I have witnessed.
No. But I'll tell you the other one. You know what we used to do? Because one of the things now everybody door dashes and whatever to get out of debt. That's their get out of debt side hustle. But it used to be that we'd all just go, hey, go deliver pizzas. And so we had a thing for a long time on this show, and we could start it again right now. That says, okay, if DoorDash or if Domino's or Marco's or Pizza Hut or whoever shows up at your door with a pizza, and you say, how are you doing? And they say, better than I deserve.
Oh, that's great.
That's code for, I'm working this job to get out of debt. You got to double their tip.
I love that.
You got to double their tip.
I love that.
And so, because they're trying to get out of debt, and you're now helping them. They're out here hustling. They're bringing you food in the rain while you're sitting on your butt. So double their tip.
Man, and give it to them in cash. Like, if I can catch the DoorDash person, like over the holidays, you're ordering food and people are hanging out.
I always do
If you
cash.
can catch them at the door and give them cash,
I always do cash. Yeah, I do. I always do cash.
Yeah, because if somebody's working Christmas Eve,
on that kind of thing, or valets, that kind of. Now, if I'm in a fine dining restaurant, I'm going to pay a part of the bill.
Yeah, for sure.
With the debit card, and they always make fun of me. Is this a debit card? Yeah. Well, is this your tip? Yeah. So we'll see how this works. But yeah. Anyway, absolutely. It's a kindness. It's an exchange. But this spin the iPad around is not an exchange.
Yeah.
And I got zero obligations. If I picked up some queso at the Mexican restaurant to take to Rachel's house for Father's Day Sunday night, and I did not tip them. They had the little queso at the door.
Yeah.
I paid them at the queso. They did not serve my table.
You drove? Yeah, I drove and got it.
I walked in the rain, got the queso, got in the truck, went to Rachel's house. Yeah. No, we don't tip that.
No, I don't tip that.
No.
Now, if they bring it, there's one restaurant I go to where they'll bring it out to the car, to your door. And I'm like, I do tip that one because I'm like, you packed it up and you brought it out to me. I did drive. That one I'll tip. That one's up to your discretion.
Yeah, you can hit in the middle there. But this thing of, it's kind of like, it's manipulative.
Well, you have
the spinning of the iPad is a manipulation.
Well, then they stand there and stare at you.
It's the other one is, do you want to give to the Wounded Pet Association or something?
Do your change
on
up?
$1
add the change
to your groceries. No, if I wanted to give to the Wounded Pet Association, I would have already given them money.
Yeah.
I'm not adding it to my grocery bill and you get the credit for the charity. No, so zero on those. I don't add $1 for the Blind Cat Society or whatever the heck it is that they put on there. It's just, they come up with some crap, man. It's unbelievable. Or Blind Dog Society. I don't care. Whichever one you want. It doesn't matter to me. But yeah, just we're not, no.
Not even the 12 cents, Dave.
That's not a tip, though. But it's a manipulation at checkout.
It is.
It's the same thing. It's still a manipulation at checkout, and it's nickel and diming you to death, and no thank you. And I don't feel guilty. Why Refi? Refinances delinquent private student loans for struggling borrowers. Learn more at yrefy.com/Ramsey.